Good morning, students. It's Teacher Kirk here, and I'm going to give you some help with Unit 7, pages 164 to 168. So, unfortunately, we don't have time in class to do all of the lessons as thoroughly as we would like. I make these videos to help us stay caught up, right? We don't want to fall behind. Here we go with Unit 7, page 164. And there's some vocabulary here. And if it takes me a moment to answer, it's because I haven't checked it yet. It's the first time I've seen this. Here we're using information from both of the listenings. That's why they say connect the listenings. And we want to be sure that we understand the ideas, advantages, and disadvantages. So an advantage is a really good thing. Sometimes we call them pros. Pro and con. This would be the plus side, and this would be the negative side. Positive things and negative things are good things and bad things. What are the advantages and disadvantages of being an only child? Okay, so they have the first one done for us right here. Well, let's just check to see if we have nouns or verbs or whatever, right? This is a verb, okay? If you recognize it as a verb, maybe you understand that verbs in their original form are infinitives, okay? Actually, can afford. You don't say can afford. We say to be able to afford, and then that changes to can. To afford something or to be able to afford something. So yes, you're going to say I can afford something. She can afford it. I can afford that economy car. Okay, I cannot afford a Cadillac. I cannot afford a Lamborghini. I can afford a used car. So this is a verb. This is a verb. Children with siblings. Okay, so that's these are nouns. These are nouns, and the way they're using them now, it looks like expressions because we have a noun and a preposition and the object of the preposition. But don't worry about that. Feel different from, okay? Here's another expression. You're going to use it with two ideas. Maybe only children feel different from children with siblings. Okay, so feel is a verb. Feel is a verb. To feel lonely, here we have feel again. Okay, so after feel, we're using adjectives. Here's another adjective, and here's another adjective. More is it functions as an adverb. Okay, so after feel, this is one of those sense verbs. You can use adjectives. Remember, I mentioned before some sense verbs that function like to be verbs. They don't mean the same thing, but they have the same function as to be verbs or the same abilities. And these are verbs like feel, look, seem, appear, and become. There are more verbs that have this ability. So the idea is after a to be verb or a sense verb, when you're using it this way, you're going to use an adjective. So examples would be I am happy, you feel sad, she looks friendly, he seems angry, they appear upset or sad, and maybe he's becoming rich. And when you use get the same way, you can use adjectives after get as well. Like it's becoming cold, it's getting cold. We are getting rich. Okay, at our new business. Less time with their parents. Okay, so that's a noun. Less and more are adverbs. Siblings, that's a noun. Here's a verb here, and here's a preposition. Spending time alone. So this is a verb in ing. And when it's like this, it might function as a gerund noun. Time is a noun, and alone is an adjective. So if you're not sure what that is, a gerund noun is when a verb in ing can function as a noun. Something like running is good exercise, or spending time alone makes you confident. Most only children can spend more. Okay, so what you want to do, students, is pause the video when you're finished with the activity. Start it again, okay? Okay, so I'm back. The idea was to finish the activity on your own. Let's check it. All right, I'm doing it for the first time. These are advantages of being an only child, and disadvantages of being an only child. Some only children. Okay, some only children. Advantages. Can afford children. Feel different from. Some only children. Maybe feel more special. I think that's it. Some only children feel more special. Okay. And only children learn to enjoy. How about spending time alone? All right. After enjoy, we always use a verb in ing. And that is functioning as a noun, the object of the verb enjoy. The thing that they enjoy. Only children are more mature than. We need another noun here to complete the comparison. Only children are more mature than children with siblings. There's a comparison. So you want to look for two different things. And parents, to give only children special opportunities. Parents, advantages of being an only child. The parents can't afford because they have more money, right? They don't have as many expenses because they only have one child. So let's cross these out. Feel more special. Spending time alone. Children with siblings. And can't afford. All right. So what about the disadvantages, the bad side, the cons and negatives of being an only child? Some only children really want to have siblings to play with, right? That's what the only children want. Some of them. Like, I think it was Tanya who wasn't happy. She said she hated being an only child. Some only children, children with siblings. Some only children feel different from, right? Children with siblings. Okay, the from tells us that we're completing a comparison. So we need the other side of the comparison. And here we have children, and here we have the other side of the comparison. Feel different from. That makes it easy for me to answer this one. Okay, so some only children don't like to spend time alone, and they sometimes, I think we need a verb here. Okay. Here's the verb feel, and here with the adjective lonely. Okay, they sometimes feel lonely. Okay, when they spend time alone. There's always a clue, right? Look for the clue in the rest of the sentence. Okay, so the last one should be easy. Some only children want to spend less time with their parents and more time with other children. Okay, very good. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, students, so on the left we have page 164. This is page 165. At the top they show the page number for the page on the left when you have it in this view. If you go to the bottom, you can almost see that it's page 165, trust me. Okay, so a little more work with vocabulary. You want to answer it on your own and then pause the video so here we can read the instructions. It's meant to be pair work, but you can do it on your own. We're just going to fill in the blank with the correct word from the box. So go ahead and pause the video and then start it again after you have answered. So complete the activity and pause the video and then start it again when you're finished. Okay, so let's give this a try. Two people having a conversation. Did both of your parents work when you were a child? Yes, but my grandmother lived with us. She helped my parents raise me. Really? Really? That's unusual in the U.S. I know, but my parents are both doctors. They worked a lot, and when they came home, they were really tired. Sure. So my grandmother took care of me during the week. Did you like that? Yes, I loved it. She always had time to play with me, and we always had fun together. We had fun together. We always had fun together. I was never lonely. So that's an adjective, comes after a to-be verb here. Don't be confused with the ly, because many adverbs have ly, like fortunately, regularly, rapidly. Usually when we see ly, we think of adverbs. But there are many different types of adverbs, and this is an adjective with ly. It's not an adverb. I don't think that idea exists as an adverb. I was never lonely. That's great. Yeah, we also talked a lot about so many things. My grandmother always helped me if I had a personal problem, and she taught me how to make the best decisions. We need to add an ed-s there. They never give you little clues like that, I have noticed. You were lucky. You were lucky. Yeah, I agree. Okay, very good. Let's go to the next page. Okay, students, you want to do the same thing here. You want to answer for yourself and then pause the video. So go ahead and pause it in reverse. Pause the video and then answer for yourself. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, complete the activity, and then restart the video. Okay, I'm back and let's check this together. Did I tell you the news about my brother and sister? No, what's happening with them? Well, you know that they blank a year ago, right? They got married a year ago, right? Yeah, well now they're going to have a baby. That's great. I know, I can't believe it. It's very exciting. Is Joan going to stop working after she has the baby? I think she's going to stay home for 3 months and then she's going to go back to work. To live on just one salary they can't afford. When we're talking about money, if you cannot pay for it, you can't afford it. Really, doesn't your brother have a good job? Well, he loves his job and he has a lot of opportunities to travel, but unfortunately he doesn't make a lot of money. Okay, please excuse my poor handwriting. Oh, so I guess they're going to get a babysitter. Yeah. And my mother is going to help them to take care of the baby too. That's nice. Very good. Let's go to the next page. Okay, students, so here's a special activity, and if you read the instructions, they say, here first, they say just read, right? Read columns A and B. And so the theme of column A is that some people think that only children have a lot of problems. And we find 3 different problems that people describe. And there's vocabulary here. And in the first problem, people say that only children are selfish. And then we have a description of what makes a selfish child. And in number 2, some people say only children are spoiled. And then we have a description of what makes a spoiled child. And in number 3, we have only children don't get along well with other children. And then we have a description of what that means when you do not get along well with other children or other people. In B, we have the response from the parents of only children. So for each of the problems in A, they have a response, but these responses are mixed up. They're not in order. And so when we read this, we see a new vocabulary word, independent. So this all describes what independent is. And in the second one, there's new vocabulary, and it's have many close friends. So in this little paragraph, you can understand what it means to have many close friends. There are some clues there. And in the third one, the vocabulary is self-confident. And if you read the paragraph, there are clues about what self-confident means. So what we want to do first, and the thing is, you need the information from the next page to answer this. So you read everything carefully, and then you go to the next page and you see this information. So we really need this information to answer this activity on page 167. First, we're going to match the definitions to the words in boldface. So the words in bold are selfish, spoiled, don't get along well, independent, have many close friends, and self-confident. So you want to pause the video, but listen to the instructions first. You're going to match the boldface words with these definitions. And at the beginning, and this is a little confusing, don't put an answer right here. Don't put an answer right here, and don't put an answer right here. Only put your answers where it says this means, and this means. That's where the answers go for the first part, for this part, part 2. The answers go where it says this means, and this means. So you're going to have 6 answers. Go ahead and pause the video and answer this section. And when you start the video again, I will show you the answers. Okay, I'm back, and it's supposed that you answered this section right here. These are the answers that you should have. You should have that selfish is, oh, I lost that. Let me try to move this again. Selfish is C, that they think about only themselves. And spoiled is F, that they are never satisfied. Okay. And only children don't get along well with other children. That is E, they have problems with other children. And what about they're more independent? They're more independent is B. They can do many things without help. And they have many close friends. We want A. They have a lot of very good friends. And lastly, they are self-confident. And the best answer to that is D. They believe they are good people with good abilities. Okay, this one seems like it doesn't coincide that much, but if you read the rest of the paragraph, that's the best answer. D is the best answer there. Okay, now the next section is maybe a little confusing, but what we're going to do is, for problem number 1, there's an answer. How did the parents respond when they heard this complaint, this idea that they say that only children are selfish? Well, how did the parents of the only children respond? There's a response that coincides with only children are selfish when basically the parents defend their children, then they explain that their children are not selfish. So you're going to put the number of the problem right here in this space. Well, we're missing a space. And I noticed that we're missing a space right here. So one of these problems has a response, and it's this one, this one. Sorry, I put the D in the wrong place. Okay. Problem number 1 has a response. Is it here, here, or here? That's where you put the 1. Problem number 2 has a response. Is it here, here, or here? What did the parents say when they heard this argument that only children are spoiled? Which one of these is it? And problem number 3 has a response. Is it here, here, or here? So go ahead and pause the video and try to answer that. You're going to put 1, 2, or 3 in the response that coincides with the problem that is mentioned in the first part. Pause the video and then restart it, and I will tell you the answers. Okay, students, so these are the answers that you should have. When people say that only children are selfish, that they only think about themselves and they never think about other people, here we read that they also care about other people. And our children are usually self-confident, not selfish. So there are clues here that number 1 is the best response to only children are selfish. And when people say that only children are spoiled, this is what we say when children have too many toys, for example, or they receive too much attention. They think that toys, money, and other things can make their child feel happy. Okay. The child keeps asking for more and more. That describes a spoiled child. Well, when people say that only children are spoiled, the parents respond like this, that they say that they don't need to buy their children lots of toys. And when children spend more time playing by themselves, they learn how to be alone. They're more independent. Okay, so that's the best answer to only children are spoiled. I think the big clue is when they say that we don't need to buy our children lots of toys to make them happy. So what about number 3? When people say only children don't get along well with other children, so they fight and they disagree and they don't play well with other children. Well, the best response to that is here. They say that parents of only children say that their children are more mature than other children their age, and that they make sure that their children have friends to play with, and that their children are usually very popular with other children, and they have many close friends. So these parents disagree with problem number 3. Okay, students, I hope that has been helpful for you this morning.